In undergrad, I was like one of very few. In grad, I was like one.
Wow.
But to me, that was always a challenge that I loved, that I accepted. And I think also because I'm from Detroit, my name is Keysha. It's like people had this idea.
Yeah, they think
had
they
this
know
idea
you.
to hit, right? And so I love to prove people wrong. So I love to show up, right? And yes, I'm the black girl that's in STEM.
Hi, everyone. Today we have an amazing guest with us. We have Keysha E. She hails from Detroit, Michigan. She is a comedian. She's an actress, but she's also a computer engineer. She has her bachelor's in computer information systems from Eastern Michigan University and a master's in computer engineering from Kettering University. So before Keysha was lighting up stages with her sharp wit and her infectious energy, she was mastering science and engineering like the brilliant baddie she is. She is a comedian with a master's degree because who says that you cannot solve equations and deliver punchlines that leave the crowd in stitches? As I said, originally from Detroit, she traded LEDs for laughter when she turned an open mic into a standing ovation. She packed up her brilliance and boldness and headed straight to Hollywood. So she's been slaying comedy showcases, cracking stereotypes, and proving you can be both STEM smart and center stage fabulous. So Keysha, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I love the intro.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, so we want to hear everything. So, going into computer engineering, computer information systems, like what were your early influences? What was like family like?
You know what? I think I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was like, maybe it came from my older brother, because like growing up, I always wanted to do everything he did, and my older brother is a genius with math, and so I don't know if it just came natural to me or if I was influenced by it and didn't realize it up under him and my dad actually. But I've always loved, like, math was always my favorite subject. So like math, science, anything that I had to kind of like figure out. I never, I'll call them the read and remember classes. I was never like history, African American history. Nah, I know my history, but
Right.
like geography classes that I felt like didn't really require me to like really apply something and figure something out didn't interest me as much. So I'm really not sure if it was just like a natural thing or if maybe I was influenced by them and I didn't realize it. But I've always loved, like, math has always been my favorite subject.
I never thought about it like that. Read and remember classes. Cause I feel the same way. I'm like, yes, they say, hey, here's the thing. Hey, here it is back. Like there's no creativity. There's no solving anything there. Yeah.
I'll just be like, this, okay.
Can't really practice it.
Yeah, you can't practice it. How do you practice history?
Can't apply it. So yeah, that's, I would say the start.
Okay. Did you do any like special camps or programs or anything?
So when I was younger, I would always do DAPSEP in the summertime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're the second person to reference DAPSEP.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm Jason Lee, who is over it currently. We went to the same undergrad, not at the same time, but when I got to Detroit, they were like, yes, you got to do DAPSEP. So I volunteered with them when I was at Michigan. So Detroit, what is it? Detroit Area Pre-College Engineering Program, I think is the acronym.
That's a shame because I'm like, is it? It might be.
Something like that. I have a random memory for random.
Oh, it's been long.
Yeah, but DAPSEP
It
is
sounds about
awesome.
right. Yeah. But I was in that from as long as I could like remember. But I always, like, my dad always had this thing where you always had homework. You come home and the teacher didn't give us no homework today. He like, oh, yes, you do. So I was just always like, I love school. I love learning. I would be in school usually like all year round because I would do the summer stuff in the summer programs like Upward Bound, DAPSEP. And then when I was like maybe 7 or 8, I'm telling my age. This was like right around the time when like PCs, like home computers, were like coming out. And I was like, for Christmas, I wanted a computer. My parents was like, okay. And I just always like, I was fascinated by every part of it. So I would like try to figure it out, take it apart. Like I would do like, I had this little software where I could create like graphics and stuff like that. So I was trying to do like graphic designs. I would print it out. I had little banners in my room. And my mama is so, I call her the Black Martha Stewart. She is so like, take that off my walls. And I'm like, no, I made this. Okay. And so I would do like all types of stuff like that.
Not take that off my walls. You're like,
She like, we have proper decorations in this home. And I'm like, ma'am, I made this banner and I'm gonna hang it up.
On this dot matrix printer. You better see these X's and
I would make one for my brother, everything. Yeah. So I remember I was just always like fascinated with like computers and just understanding it and learning them and just all the different things they could do. So I knew very early on I wanted to do something with computers. I just wasn't exactly sure what. And it went from like, I wanted to, I used to love video games when I was younger. So I was like, oh, I want to program video games.
What did you play? What did you like to play?
My favorite game was Tecmo Bowl.
What is that one?
It's a football game. Kind of like, it's like the pre-Madden,
football
basically.
Game.
That, oh my God, what's the name of the basketball one?
What's it like?
Why can't I think of it? No, this is before that. This was the original, like
the original basketball Nintendo game.
No, it wasn't Slam. Oh my God, Double Dribble.
Double Dribble. Wow.
Double Dribble.
Tecmo Bowl was my favorite. Double Dribble was probably my second favorite. I love Zelda. And then of course when like Nintendo 64 and all that came out, like the Mario Brothers and all of that. Or the original Mario Brothers too. So I just always like tech. I always like just kind of understanding and figuring it out. And then as I continued on with school, like I always took different like math programs, after school stuff or summer stuff. And then I went to my high school. I went to Martin Luther King High, and they had different programs. You had to take a test to get, it's called like a choice school. So you had to take a test to get accepted, but they had different programs. And the program that I went into, of course, was called MSAT, which is Math, Science, and Applied Technology. So he had a focus on like when I was in, I still don't even understand this to this day because we was taking geometry 1 and 2 at the same time, in ninth grade. I'm like, can I get one before
don't you need number 1 for number 2?
They said you got number 1 that first hour. By 6th hour, you need to understand number 2. Okay. Wow. But it was very heavy and
so confused.
Very. It was very heavy in math. So we took like algebra 1 and 2, geometry, calculus, pre-cal, calculus, trigonometry, quantitative analysis. We took Pascal, programming languages. We took chemistry. We took physics, like a lot of heavy in math and science. They had other programs, which was like CISC. I think it was Center for International Studies and Commerce, and that focused on like business. We all had to take a language for the entire time, but that program had to take like 2 languages.
Oh my gosh.
So it was kind of basically like trying to put you on the track for what it is that you want to do.
Yeah, y'all had college, high school, basically.
Yeah, so
I know that's pretty standard with magnet programs, like the concentrated programs. True. They all kind of do that. Where it's like you start out prepping you to be able to, if you want to, not have to take some of those intro classes or any of those GED classes. It's like you kind of skip to years of college basically by the time you're done, if you pass high enough in some of those AP classes.
Yeah. So like my middle school was like a magnet school, and so it just kind of I always had that focus. And then that's when I started kind of figuring out, I started liking programming when I was taking Pascal. And so I was just kind of like trying to narrow it down. Like, I know I want to do something with computers. What exactly is it that I want to do? And then I originally started out doing computer aided design. My freshman year of college. Freshman year.
You didn't like it, did you?
No. I was like, okay, we know that this isn't what we want to do. So I was like,
solid modeling.
Ilk.
You gotta go through a process of elimination.
Good old cat.
True, it's true.
Yeah, she's a civil
and I was
engineer.
like, absolutely not. No, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, this not for me. But thank you. Like I gave it a try. I gave it a little spin. And so when I was in college, I was just kind of like figuring out what I wanted to focus on. And I felt like, at first I felt like leaning more towards programming. And then I was, like I said, in undergrad, I was doing CIS. So we did a little bit of everything, like networking, databasing, programming. Excuse me. And then when I went to grad school. So as soon as I graduated from undergrad, then I went to grad because I made a silly college decision.
Yeah, we were going to ask you about some of the stuff in between there.
What's that?
Like, so one, you studied everything. So most people, you know, they get their bachelor's and they're like, all right, I'm ready to go into the corporate world. So one, you chose to stay in computers. I'm just curious, like, what your computer information science, like, experience was like, because for the two of us, like, we were the onlys in our class, and it was not very encouraging to stay in the field. I was like, these people crazy, and they think I'm crazy with them. So like, can we back up for a second? You talk about like what it was like taking your classes and like if you had like support and things like that.
So no, I was always one of very few. In undergrad, I was like one of very few. In grad, I was like one.
Wow.
But to me, that was always a challenge that I loved, that I accepted. And I think also because I'm from Detroit, my name is Keysha. It's like people had this idea.
Yeah, they think
had
they
this
know
idea
you.
to hit, right? And so I love to prove people wrong. So I love to show up, right? And yes, I'm the Black girl that's in STEM, right?
Yeah.
And so it was, Eastern is a PWI, but it has a very large Black population.
Yeah, they do.
But it wasn't a lot of people in my program. So like I said, it was a few. I could always feel, right, people not expecting you to do well, not expecting you to excel. Even some professors. I had a few professors that were really great. That were really, really, really great. But for me, I always just loved the challenge of like proving you wrong. That just made me go even harder. And then like sometimes we would have group projects and y'all don't see me. Y'all don't see me.
Right. Everybody choosing partners and it's like, oh,
okay.
wait.
Oh, y'all don't hear me. Oh,
Right.
Okay. Because I just I just gave the solution but okay. And so sometimes, I would say very few times it was discouraging, or it was kind of like, oh, this is what it's going to be like. And do I want to continue to fight this battle every day? And then other times it was like, yeah, you do. Because if you don't, then what? So,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Literally my story.
Yeah.
So, but then you chose to do
I
it
think
some
it's
more.
all of our stories.
Yeah, that's all of our stories.
And my hope is that it doesn't have to continue to be another Black girl story. You know what I mean? That eventually it won't. Yeah. And I know that'll probably take some time, but if I can help in any way, you know,
we are working to change the narrative.
Yeah,
I will say, like, you know, working with undergraduate students now, they still have that same kind of narrative, unfortunately. Yeah. Like, I've had a lot of conversations with students in my class, and I teach like a class that's interdisciplinary, so I get students in every discipline. Some students who aren't even in engineering, but I had a group of girls a couple semesters ago who came up to me after my class, and they were like, "You restored our faith in engineering. Like, we felt like we couldn't do it," and they were on a team, and they had to come up with a final project together.
Yeah, and
there was not a man in sight, and I think it helped them realize like they can do hard things. We're always relegated to make the presentation look nice, write the report.
I think
never,
the one thing
like,
for me,
technical things.
And I think that's the great thing. Like you said, now they're looking like, okay, I can do it because I see somebody else that did it that looks like me. I think the one thing for me is I never needed that. So that helped me to stay in it as well. Even when I didn't see myself represented, it was like I didn't need to see it in order for me to keep going. But some people really do, and that's why it's important.
I was like, there has to be a Black woman who has gone through this thing.
Where's she at?
Right. I was like, these people are crazy. Because like I earned the first computer science PhD at Michigan as a Black woman.
Congratulations to that. Wait a minute. You just glossed past that.
But it's also sad. It's also sad because there has not been another African-American woman to get one since I got mine. And that was over 10 years ago. And I was like, there has to be a Black woman I can talk to. And that's when I found out that I would be the first. So then I'm also, like you said, you're like, oh, I'm gonna be the first. Okay, I need to be here. Cause I was like, I'm about to leave. Y'all are crazy. Keep the PhD, keep the degree. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I need to show people that it's not that this thing is hard. Y'all just crazy. And this is possible. So the whole being contrary, you think I can't do something? Okay, I'm gonna actually do it in your face and then come back and show you the results and say, you remember when you said this? I did it.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I think
Oh my
contrary fuels
goodness.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of us.
What was grad school like?
Right, because you chose to do it more, even
So
though you
I
only saw.
did. So I always knew that I wanted to get my master's degree, and I was like, let me just knock it out. And I thought my parents were gonna just knock it out for me as well, but they were like, oh no, we pay for undergrad. You are no for grad. But so I always knew that I wanted to get my master's degree. I love learning, and that's something that I realized when I got into the work field. I was like, I really just like being in the classroom. And then I went to Eastern. I didn't want to go to my history class. Read and remember. Didn't want to go to the read and remember
We don't
class
like the read and
in 12th grade.
remembers.
I had planned my whole educational career from the time I was like a little kid. I knew what elementary school I was going to, what
How
middle
did you
school,
know
what high
these
school.
things? Like, where did you get this from? Where you're just like, I didn't even know if I wanted SpaghettiOs or Cheerios. Like, you knew how. Like, what led you to just be this, just forthcoming with, okay, this is my education. I'm doing this. I plan this.
I think
It's the efficacy.
I just always loved school. I love school. I love reading books. And like I said, I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I didn't know specifically, but an idea. And so I was like, okay, what's going to put me on the best path? Like, I know this school, this middle school is a magnet school. This high school has, the MSAT program. And so in high school, so I used to swim, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Tennessee State because they had like the best girls swim team. And that was the only school that I had applied to. So I was like, okay, I'll still be able to get my education, and then also I swim. And then I got into an accident and I stopped swimming. And so I didn't think about it until 12th grade. I was like, I don't want to go there anymore.
Wow.
But I also hadn't applied anyplace else. And it was like getting close to the end of the year. And Eastern did an on-site admission at my school, and I didn't want to go to my history class. So I was like, I'm gonna go. So I went and of course got accepted. And then at the very last minute, I was like, I'm going to Eastern. And my parents was like, what? What is Eastern? I was like,
Eastern is in Ipsy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's a school. They was like, do they even have the program? I'm like, they got something with computers. They got computers up there.
Right, they got computers there, so I'll figure it out.
And so I really felt like once I graduated, I was like, particularly in this field, I was like, yeah, I gotta go back to back, and I need to go to Kettering. I need to go ahead and go to Kettering. So I did go right after, but I was working. I did start working. So it was tough. It was talk about
somebody
locked
had
in.
to pay those bills.
Yeah. Were you working in tech at the same time? Oh, wow.
Yep.
What were you doing?
So I actually was working for Wayne County Department of Technology, like right when I graduated. And then I started, I want to say, no, I think I started in the fall. So I might have had a couple months, like a little break before I had to start. But I was also able to do, so I went to, excuse me, I did some things. I was able to do some of my courses online. And then a lot I had to go to campus, but it was in Flint. So Flint was only like an hour, a little over an hour drive. It was very different. Like, and at that point I wasn't expecting the college experience anyway, and I had an idea because I knew a lot of my friends that left from the MSAT program in King went to Kettering. I was the first year, I think I might have been the only Black person, period.
Wow.
But for sure, the only Black woman. And I think there were only maybe two or three other women. Like, I think it was a white girl and like one girl. I'm not exactly sure what her ethnicity was. A couple other ones. But for the most part, white, male dominated. And when I say to a whole nother level, oh, y'all know it all. Y'all don't even need to be here. Why y'all even here? Because y'all know
trying
everything.
to tell the teacher what the teacher said. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's when I felt it more than in undergrad, I think. And so, but at that point, it was like, again, y'all not going to deter me from doing what I came here to do. And also, I think I was less, again, like the whole college experience of it. You're not like living on campus and, it's like I got a whole life outside of this. But I was also working. And at the time, I started to realize, like, I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy this. I remember when I went on my first interview, first of all, they thought I was there to interview for a receptionist. No shade to receptionist, but I was like,
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, this is what we're doing. This is what I'm up against. And then I remember I had my interview and they were like, the number of hours required.
Yeah.
In Detroit. Yes.
It's like this
one of
is
the blackest cities in
right.
the US at
This
the
is
time.
where black people were made, and then they're just
This girl
like,
couldn't possibly be here for that.
they're like, there's no
This is where
way.
black people are made. Yeah. And it was like the number of hours required to talk per week or something like that. I remember it was like 2. And I've always been like this kind of like, I got a great personality, kind of outgoing, but then also really book smart and really like into school. And I think at that point is when I started thinking about, because when I wanted to act when I was a kid. I had gotten to a play when I was in like the 2nd grade. And I remember my letter was E for egg, and I was like, oh, y'all got to give me some more lines because I'm going to kill this. And so I always wanted to go into acting. I would do little plays here and there, but my parents was like, girl, you better act like you want to do that homework.
Right. That's only
We're not supporting that. Yeah.
Right.
And that was around the time that I
Amazing.
started kind of thinking like, maybe I'll go for it. I have this. I'll always have it. Nobody can take it away from me.
That's true.
Maybe I'll go for it. But I finished up school, was still working in my field, and I was like, I just didn't feel fulfilled. And at the time I was 24, I think. And I was like, nah, this can't be the rest of my life. And I think maybe I really missed school. Maybe I didn't work enough and I just missed school.
So next was the PhD. So you just need to go in the PhD program.
I thought about that and I was like, nah, y'all can have it. One of my friends actually was going to. I don't think clearly she didn't start, but I was like, you can have it, girl. We'll support you. It'll be all of ours.
Right.
Amazing.
So then somehow you said, okay, I hate y'all over here. I'm going to be on the stage. I'm just going to go ahead. And was it as a dare that you did an open, like, can you tell that story?
Yeah. So literally after I graduated in July. I moved to LA in August after I got my master's.
Oh, you wasn't playing.
Wow.
Wow.
I wasn't playing. I did work again in my field when I first got to LA, but then I realized I couldn't do that and act because I had a whole plan, right? And I didn't know any better. It's like, you cannot work a 9 to 5 and act. My granddaddy didn't die 4 times, okay? They're like, wait a minute, girl. Because I had to like an audition or meet with an agent or something that I needed to get out of work. So went there for acting. Ended up, I worked for probably like 5 or 6 months and it just wasn't working with my schedule. And then comedy came years later. It was just a dare. Like, I'm the type, if you dare me to do something where I won't get pregnant or die, I'm like, whatever, why not? And people kept telling me you should do comedy. Why not?
I mean, that's a good litmus test, right? If it's not going to significantly change my life by not having one or adding a person,
jail?
you know.
I feel like that's got to be one of the things, right?
Jail can't be that bad. They making TikToks. They got hibachi in jail.
You can get a good lawyer, you know.
You can get out of jail, you know.
Right.
Not
Okay,
like
I guess
prison.
maybe jail and LA
Maybe I
is
should-
different. Yeah.
I should probably add prison to
And
the
you can
list.
say it was AI. Like,
Jail?
what? You got me on tape? That's AI.
I can't do
Stop.
prison, but jail, 24, 48 hours.
You know. 3 hots in a cot is what they call it.
So yeah, got dared to do. I was at an amateur night. People have been telling me like, you should do comedy, and I was like, no, like, I'm not funny. People always say that, but I would be so serious. Like, I don't know why y'all laughing. I'm dead. Like, I'm not even trying to crack a joke.
That is the story of my life, actually.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is? People from high school was like, that's what you should have been doing all along. And I was like, what?
Wow.
So-
You're like, y'all saw me on this engineering track and y'all didn't say, hey girl, comedy.
Yeah,
No,
so
she needed material because
I needed material.
I'm sure that
It does
That's
help.
a good point.
It does help. I do a couple jokes about that. So yeah, I was at an amateur night. They had announced, or I was at a comedy show and they announced that they were doing an amateur night. And one of my friends dared me to do it. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I went out of town. I went to my little cousin's graduation in Houston. Forgot that I even accepted the dare. Don't know the first thing about comedy. Ain't never wrote a joke. I get a phone call like, the show Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. This is like Monday. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come out. Like, I'll be there supporting. They were like, no, remember you're on the show. And I was like,
you're number
oh,
2.
I forgot. Right. Okay. So they were like, he was like, it's 3 minutes. And I was like, no, I need 10. He's like, I can't give you 10 minutes. He's like, I know 3 minutes doesn't sound like a long time, but in comedy, 3 minutes is a very long time, especially for your first time. And I was
it
like,
is.
give me 10 minutes because I'm never doing this again. I have no material at this point, mind you. Okay, well, I'm asking for more time. So he was like, all right.
You're just like, I
I
need
don't
more.
have one joke. I don't have a second.
Wow.
So he was like, okay, I'm going to give you
my
10 minutes.
gosh.
And if you are up there dying, I'm going to leave you up there. And I was like,
Oh
okay,
no.
fine. So then I'm like, okay, what are we gonna talk about? So now I'm trying to think, and I would go to comedy shows. I was cool with certain comedians, so I was trying to think. This is the engineer me. And I was talking to one of my good friends, Tony Rock, and he was like, how are you thinking about transitions and you don't have material? My mind went to, how do I transition to the next joke? And he was like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He's like, but you don't have the first joke. I'm like, but I need to know how do I
need a joke
what's
first.
the in-betweens? Right, but also,
how do I get around?
Right.
So I'm really trying to think about it. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, well, what are we going to talk about? I was like, we're going to talk about my life. We're going to talk about our life. Like, let me get my material from God. And
makes sense.
I really just started thinking about things. And that was the day before. That was Monday. The show was on Tuesday. So Monday I worked on it. Early Tuesday, I ran through my set real quick. I was in the shower, like, thinking about my stuff. And then did the show. I got there. He was like, listen, I can't give you 10 minutes. I can't do that to you. And I was like, I need 10. So we negotiated on 7. I ran the light to 9.5. I don't run the light no more. I respect the light.
It's like, y'all gonna get these jokes that I have prepped in the shower.
Y'all gonna get them. And obviously, I mean, I've grown, I've gotten better, so I can't say it's my best show ever, but it was literally one of my best, like, shows. It was really good. Like, most people bomb their first time doing stand-up.
Right.
But I think also because I didn't care, like, this wasn't, I never thought about doing stand-up, and I never planned to do it again. So I wasn't nervous. I think because I was already acting, I have stage presence. And so, yeah,
that's hilarious.
It just happened. And then afterwards, never thought about doing it again. It was when I say amazing show, I still have the video from it. Still was like, I'm done. I'm never doing this again.
You have to send it to us so we can link it in the show
I'll
notes.
send it to you. Okay. Yes. I'll send it to you. You got a little cussing in it.
It's okay.
Okay.
We'll find a clean something.
It's a
bleep.
And then after the show, I still tell him this to this day. Shout out to my boy Afion Crockett. At the time, I didn't know him, and he was there. And afterwards, he waited till everybody was talking to me, and he was like, "Hey, how long have you been doing comedy?" And I was like, 10 minutes. And he was like, "No, seriously, how long have you been?" And I was like, "That 9.5 you just saw."
Right, like you saw when my foot got on the stage. Yeah, that was minute 0.
He was like, that was it. He was like, "Yo, you really have something. Like, you need to keep going." And I was like, and he was somebody I respect in comedy. So I thought about it, but I also was like, And then somebody else came up to me and was like, "Hey, what you doing next week? I got a show at Flappers. Can you come do the show?"
Wow.
So for a while, because acting was kind of slow at the time, I wasn't auditioning a lot. So I would just do a show and book another show. Then I did Flappers, and then the booker from Flappers wanted to book me for like a regular show. And then like it kind of just went like that. Every week I was having a comedy show. And after like a month, I was like, oh, you know what? I really like this. And then a little while longer, I was like, wait a minute, I love this. And I also had the thought of like, you know what? This is going to open a door for acting because while I'm not really auditioning right now, people don't know who I am, right? And I always have a hard time with my age. I just got turned down for a movie because the character is 40. And I was like, y'all know I'm older than 40, right? But okay.
So they know black don't crack. So it's like, you can give you a smooth 28. You got to.
But that's the thing. So then they would see me as younger, but then they're like, well, your essence feels it was just like this space. So I was like, you know what? Comedy is going to open the door because in LA, everybody is in a comedy club. Somebody's going to see me. And that has happened. Like I literally just wrapped a movie with Tiffany Haddish and Lil Rel. And it's like,
congratulations.
Thank you. That came back full circle from doing stand up. So at that point I started taking it serious.
That's amazing.
And it just became the next thing.
That's so cool.
You make this, sorry, Jeremy, I keep jumping over here. You make this sound so simple. Like, I got my master's and moved to Hollywood, and now I'm like, yeah.
My parents still trying to understand. Like, wait a minute. So what? So okay. When you put it like that, it doesn't sound like it would be. But in my mind, not even in my mind, just how it felt was that it did just feel simple. It just felt very simple. Of like, this is what I always wanted to do. I don't want to do this anymore. We're gonna go do this, and all we gotta do is get a plane ticket to go do that.
That is the requirement, plane ticket.
And if not, we'll come back to this. So like,
some place
it just kind
sleep.
of went that way.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
So do you still do anything? Anything engineering related, like in your free time?
Not even a little bit.
tinkering with things in your house
The closest
anymore.
I got
You're
to
not
doing something
breaking stuff.
engineer related was I got books for the Black Engineering Society for a conference they had.
Oh, for Nesby?
Stand-up comedian for Nesby.
Oh,
as a stand-up
nice.
comedian.
Nice.
That was the closest thing I was like, see, mom and dad, I'm kind of,
See?
I'm in here with the engineer.
Right, I'm here with the
You're still an
engineers
engineer.
are.
You're still an
You know
engineer.
what I thought about? This just recently hit me because I moved to Atlanta, and which, there's still entertainment here, but I'm kind of like getting older and getting to a point of like, I love entertainment. And when I was younger, I really loved being like gig to gig, figuring out what's next. It's always something different. And now I'm getting older and I'm like, I kind of want more stability, right? And so I have thought about it. But then I looked at my resume and I was like, what you didn't think? Because I was like, oh, I got 2 degrees. I'm always good. And it's like, yeah, but you haven't worked in your field in 14 years. So.
But you know what the trick is with that? I've heard, allegedly, what I heard, that gap say that there's an NDA that binds you from saying what it is. So
Oh my God.
from 2014 years ago to now, just say,
They're like, girl, we're not even doing that no more. This is a whole nother, you don't even know what programming language is using. You don't know.
you're like, y'all still doing Fortran and Pascal over here?
Everything I'm looking at is like
they legit.
8, 9, 10 plus
they
years
have-
experience.
We have an
Have the
NDA.
tutorials.
You were
You could
working
just do
in the
some
field.
stuff
You just got an
online.
NDA.
That's why I was like, maybe I could do like some certifications. Maybe I could just take like little, I don't know.
Do some
But
project
at this
management.
point,
You can manage a project.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious, like, how did your technical training like help you for what you're doing now? Like, how did it influence like your approach, any of your creative work, like writing jokes, building a character?
I would say just having to really like be detailed, like with comedy, even though they're very different, right? Engineering and comedy is very different, but I think just the ability to be able to like critically think almost like, because when you're creating jokes, there's a difference between being a comedian and like your jokes are funny and being a comedian, you're also a writer. And I get that compliment a lot from people in the industry of like, oh, I can tell that you write. I can tell that like your jokes are well thought out. And I feel like that part of just how my mind works and how I think, that probably helps with it.
It's probably a lot more
Thinking
different than
quickly.
other people's thinking. Like you
Yeah.
have like an algorithm almost that you can create for each story that you're producing, and like people can't follow our logic sometimes when we try to explain how we address problems. Like we literally have to break it down to like most basic essence.
Yes, I think that I think in some ways it helps with my like, because you have to kind of be quick in terms of not necessarily with your set, but like crowd work and things like that. And I just think like I feel like my brain is just sharp, so that helps with like being quick in the moment somebody says something, or if you're doing crowd work and I'm asking you a question about something, I have to come up with a joke very quickly in that moment. And I think that probably helps just because I feel like my brain is like a little sharp.
Yeah. Not just a
Yeah.
little. You got a
And then I
whole
think it just-
computer engineering degree. It's more than a little sharp.
And I think it gives me a different approach and a different edge as well as other comedians that, may not have gone to school for not even just engineering, but just in general. Because at the end of the day, it's like you're still bringing yourself to this stage. And so that is still a part of who I am. And then the education piece, even though with comedy, and I got to work on this because I've been doing comedy for too long. Even though with comedy, I feel like you use ebonics a lot, right? It's not a professional setting. And that was one thing I had to get out of me with acting because I was so used to going into interviews. And when I go into an audition, they're like, oh, the character is just a little, and I'm like, oh, wait, I'm in interview mode.
Then
Switch.
Yeah, you got to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that it helps just in the sense of, well, it does now. In the beginning, I had a few people that were like, hey, I think sometimes your jokes are a little too smart for people. Like, I think it kind of goes over their head a little bit. So I did kind of tone it down a little bit, but it's still there. So you can still tell like, oh, this girl is really educated.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she's funny, but she's also smart. And I think I love that part of it.
And there's an audience for that
I feel
too, like for very witty jokes.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think comedy has kind of moved that direction recently, right? Where people are interested in like these higher level intellectualized jokes, where before folks were just like, no, I want to laugh, like just be funny.
Yeah.
So
it's like I want to think.
you were at a particular moment where you got to be more authentically you, and use that for your benefit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
So have you, when you went to Nesby, did folks come up to you afterwards, like, and ask about like how they be like you or anything like that? Do you feel like you're still inspiring folks?
So no, actually the show ended up getting canceled.
Oh no.
But it was close. I was close to utilizing my dream.
Okay, well, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that.
They said they didn't have the budget.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. But yeah.
Oh, Nesby.
But I do sometimes have people just come to me after. I oftentimes have people come to me after my shows about a lot of things. Like right now, my set is very heavy based on like fertility. And like freezing your eggs and all the things. And I have people come up to me after the show. Like one girl, I was like, let's pray. Because she was like, I got down to my last embryo. And they were implanting it like the next day or 2 days later. And they hadn't had a lot of success. And then a couple people came up to me like, I haven't even thought about that. Or I didn't even know I didn't even know I should get tested for this. And like all of those things. So I feel like oftentimes it is conversation starters. And I've had people to come up afterwards like, oh, I'm an engineer. Or I, originally went to school for that. Or, things like that. So, yeah.
It's that relatability, that authenticity.
Yeah.
So what do you say to people who like engineering and they're on the struggle bus like you were? Like there's this internal reckoning of like, I love this thing, but I feel miserable going to work every day. Like, how did you decide, you know what? I'm buying the plane ticket. I'm getting on the plane. I'm gonna go for happiness.
So I think for me, I always wanted to act as well. As much as I loved school, I loved education. I knew I wanted to do something with computers. I always loved acting. I loved acting. I loved sports. I didn't grow very much, so I was like, we're not gonna go very far.
I didn't grow.
We're basketball. So me, no, I'm 5'4". Well, but I got a growth spurt at the last minute. I came back, I think 12th grade, and they were like, what happened over the summer? But I was like 5 feet even. Oh wow! And even when I grew, I only grew to 5'4". My little brother took all the height. He's 6'6".
Oh wow! We're both tall. So.
Really? Yeah. No, I'm 5'4". So I think because that was always in the back of my mind, I always had this desire for it. It made it a lot easier for me to switch up versus if it was just like, I'm not really fulfilled in this. I probably would have stayed, or at least stayed longer and felt it out a little bit more, or maybe figured I need to switch companies, or maybe I need to switch, tweak what I'm doing a little bit or something like that. So I think for somebody who's struggling like that, I would say to really like sit down and try to evaluate what it is that you're struggling with. Is it engineering in its totality? Is it the company that you're at? Is it, maybe how you're feeling because you are a Black woman and you kind of feeling like you're on an island? Because in that case, while it may not necessarily change at your job, but you can also find like support groups, or you can also, get like meetups with other Black women that are in STEM that may help you feel a bit better about it. So I would say like evaluate exactly what it is you're feeling and then figure out what would be the alternative. Is there something that you would love doing more? That's the thing that kind of helped me. It was like, okay, I know I have this thing inside of me. I'm gonna take a chance on it.
That's great.
So if there's something else there that you do feel like, because I think it's okay. I think oftentimes I have quite a few friends that went to school for one thing and they're very successful, but they're doing something totally different. And I think that that's okay. Sometimes I think people are afraid to change. Like, I have to do this thing because this is what I did. And it was like my whole life, since I was 8, I'm like, since they bought me that computer, I'm gonna do something with computers. And now I don't.
Right.
And even now with comedy, I'm like, if I decide I really want to be a housewife, I'm not even going. That's my next career move.
Right? Listen, that was Jeremy's move that she wanted to do.
That was my PhD. I was so close. It might still happen. I was just like really over all the things.
Yeah, like you would give up comedy, but you work so hard. And I'm like, absolutely. I will tell jokes to the kids. Okay, I will Put some little jokes in your lunch bag.
Yep.
Like, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to change. Nothing is ever lost. Because some people ask me that too. Like, do you regret it? And I'm like, no, I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. I met a lot of people. All of that in one way or another helped me to get to where I'm at now. And so it's like nothing is ever lost that you've done, even if you decide to change, change your mind. So I think really just think about it. Don't make like a snap decision unless you got an offer to be a housewife.
Right. Unless you got a strong offer in one direction or the other.
But yeah.
That's real. That's so real. Yeah. So one of the things like that I'm really passionate about is science communication, right? And I feel like you having the knowledge of what it takes to be an engineer and the experience would be excellent in that space. Right? Like going online, talking to people about what engineering, computing, these random technology developments, what they are, and like how folks can use them, but in a way it's like relatable.
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing something like that? Because I feel you would be an excellent person.
I actually haven't, but now that you said it, I'm over here thinking about it. No, I haven't actually. The closest I've thought about is there was a guy I met. Where was I at? I was in Cabo for a friend's wedding. And we were all at the pool talking, and
just randomly, I was in Cabo at the pool, as I normally do.
No. And he books a lot of comedians for corporate, like corporate gigs and things like that. But it requires you to integrate whatever the company was or whatever the business was or whatever they were. It required you to incorporate that with your comedy, which I felt like. Not necessarily along the lines of what I went to school for, but still in an educational space and still something that I would be good at and would be able to do. But I never thought about that. But now I'm gonna put that on my list.
You should think about it because there's room for it, but also like most people can't. You have a skill, right? Where you can take an experience, something you've gone through, and have people from all walks of life connect you. Right? That's comedy. And, sometimes it's like a sad thing. Sometimes it's a happy thing. But usually it's everybody can see how, okay, this thing is relatable. Like it's connection that I have to an experience. We have so much nonsense in engineering and computing that goes on. I know you said you've used some of it in your jokes, but like in real life, like people just don't understand, like, what's a computer engineer do? What is artificial intelligence actually about?
Right.
And you can use a lot of the misconceptions about those things to make funny jokes, but also educate folks about, what they should and shouldn't be doing with tech. So,
right.
So
and what is AI really doing? AI is not Terminator. Like,
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check into that. Thank you for bringing that up.
It's so true because like there's so
one
much
of my
science
favorites
misinformation.
Raven, the science maven. Shout out to her. Like she is hilarious, but also like she does rap songs and really cool videos. She was in like the Netflix Ada Twist Scientist show. If you've seen that,
what is Netflix?
Creating a song.
Ada
The show. It's like a kid show. Ada Twist
haven't.
Scientist. It's super cute.
Oh,
it's super
okay.
cute. So
I have the dog.
He's a little engineer.
She's so cute.
And technically she's a scientist. But I feel like the other characters like Rosie Revere, engineer, for example. So I just feel like there's a lot of ways like people could connect to science and engineering if we did a better job at making it appealing to folks.
True.
And
yeah.
I don't know. I'm one of those people that like talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
We need to tell more people. We need to get the kids inspired, excited.
Yeah, because they're not hearing about it from people who look like them. So they're left to just get whatever they hear out and about. I've heard so many people, ChatGPT is the devil. It's like, okay.
My friends had me over here putting my relationship questions in ChatGPT.
What?
Last weekend I was cracking up. They was like, "Oh, let's put it in ChatGPT."
I'm what in the world could Chat say?
It actually came up with some really good stuff, but I was like, this is funny. She's like, oh, no, I go to chat for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, literally everything.
Definitely.
But
definitely.
The dating profile questions, like
the dating questions. She came back quick too, and then she did it in. She told her to give it to us like an urban way, and she was like, "All right, sis, this is what it is."
Not all right, sis.
I was like, she just read me. Yeah.
No, my adjective very is sassy. Whenever I want chat this, I'm like, write it and say it's sassy. And then sassier. Okay, there we go. We got it.
Sassier. That's funny.
So
Kyla and I are more like you before we took risks, or before you took the risk of like jumping. Like we both like to creative things as our side hustle, and not the main hustle. Because I grew up acting, and then I was like, I ain't doing that.
You're like, I'm gonna keep this good 9 to 5.
To pay my bills. Exactly.
Yeah, I grew up dancing.
Plans were in life, but
I grew up. I thought I was gonna be a choreographer. Honestly.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, I like choreography, but also
my parents thought I'd be on Broadway.
There's no money in that. You're talking to two theater nerds, so we're just like, I was in musicals like growing up, and it was fun. It was very fun. But also, my mom's like, "But how you gonna pay these bills? Because we like, don't have money for you."
My mom didn't even have to ask. I was like, "The math does math with this job."
The math ain't mathing, and I'm good at math.
Yeah,
I am pretty good. Okay.
But the same way, I was just like, I was so intrigued by the computer. I'm like, I got to go to school and learn about it because this computer thing sounds really cool. But as a fun segue into like just talking about computers and technology and pop culture, our What the Heck Tech segment that we have, where we randomly ask about various technical topics, things that are in the headlines, and get a reaction from whoever we are interviewing. So the first headline that we have is from Time magazine, and the headline is AI can now craft original jokes, and that's no laughing matter. So the short summary, AI has made significant strides in humor generation. Okay, that's a thing now, with systems like John the Robot performing comedy routines. Is John talking? I just don't need to know that. Anyway, John the Robot performs comedy routines by responding to audience reactions. However, challenges remain in understanding cultural references and the nuances of human psychology. Keysha, what do you think about John the Robot trying to come for your coins? What do you think?
I can't.
John the Robot looks like a robot.
I think that there's some things you just can't, AI just can't do. And I think comedy is one of those things because for so many reasons. Okay, one, as a comedian, like your jokes, your set, everything has to be in your voice. And you have to have a point of view. Whatever it is you're talking about, all three of us can do a joke about being Black women in STEM, right? But we all have different experiences. We all do different things. We all went to different schools. And so our jokes are all going to be different. And I feel like that's very hard for AI to create. I feel like it's going to sound, they can create a general blanket kind of joke, but like a really good joke, like to really, like, no. Also, I feel like AI, and I don't know. So let me be careful with that because I don't mess around with AI, but like
AI's listening.
Really understanding real like human interactions and human like how we talk to one another, and even just like they were saying, like even like the language that we use, or the little just the everyday nuances. I feel like AI is not going to be able to really catch. I feel like it's going to sound like a joke that came from a robot versus like a well thought out set that has colors and layers, and I feel like it could probably get the basics. Maybe it can get like the setup and the punch, but it's never going to be able to replace like real. Even when comedians have other comedians that write for them, it's like
that's not your voice.
Okay. All right. Or you telling the joke about your kids and you don't have kids. You don't even
like marriages are hard. Like, say you're single. What are you talking about?
So I think I just think that's hilarious. A hard. industry for AI to really crack. And then also you want your jokes to be very different, which is what comes from your lived experiences and your personality and who you are. I feel like the jokes would be just very generic and very like, what's your point of view on it? Yeah, and a robot laugh, like it's just I'm not worried about AI coming from
no. So the claim is that it's studying, as part of its data set, it has like all of the funniest jokes from lots of different sets. And it's a joke generation system that is creating, I guess, to study and create a superset of like things that's trained on TV data, monologue jokes. And I guess it does like some sort of keyword tagging and things like that. But
see, so now it sounds like you're stealing people's stuff. Now it sounds like, where's the creativity and the originality in it? Now it sounds like you're in some way or another, and you're going to, switch it up or change it around, but you're stealing what's already out there and trying to create. So again, it's not.
That's literally what AI does.
That's what AI does. It's like,
it doesn't really work with comedy.
Right. It's like, you said alligator, I'm going to say smalligator. Like, it's not original at all.
Yeah.
And I think too, like one part of humor is your vocal inflection as you're saying it. So how in the world does it train it? Like, yes, having the word someone said that was funny is a piece, but you don't know what, like how their voice sounded when they said it, or if it was like a sing-song
or their face.
Or their face. Yeah.
Like,
and I think it's such
expression.
Like, stand-up is such it's like you have to start from scratch. You have to it's not like I'm trying to think. It's not like
you can't take like a monologue and learn it and practice and improve the same way.
Yeah,
you have
or
to come
like
up
a
with joke.
process
Like,
that you can. This kind of worked before, and we can figure out how to solve this by using it. It's not that kind of thing. Like, it's all literal, like, original creativity, and you putting together this joke from your thought.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go generate it from something that's already out there, it's like that just doesn't work.
And you can't be like, the robot can't be like, okay, back in the server room, I was talking to the computer, bloop, blop, bleep, blop. It's like, okay, now we're just, what are we doing?
Yeah. And I think good luck. I think a comedian that uses, I can't even imagine going to AI for my jokes, because it's just like, it's my joke. Like, it has to be my thing. And I think a comedian that uses AI is going to they're going to end up being
interesting, because you got folks who will use it for a relationship and dating advice, but not for writing a joke. Okay. Like,
I have once tried to be like, say this thing in the style of this person. Like, I've done that before, and I'm like, I can hear them saying that. It's not 100%. You might be at a strong 65, but let's say that you said you trained it on a bunch of like your sets, and you just had the transcripts and said, all right, this is my voice. Now write a joke about blank in my voice. Like, it might get you a good rough draft that you could like alter.
You might get a quick little punchline, but I feel like you're not going to be able to get a whole setup.
No, you can't use the
even
whole
if you
thing.
send it in my voice, you just what I can think of as an actual comedian is, I can't imagine AI could think of something better. Like, just because of the basis of what stand-up is. Like, I just can't see. I mean, maybe if you want just a quick tag,
Yeah.
But comedians give you tags. That's, again, would be better than AI. I think that's lazy. I think that is beyond lazy. I don't even know that lazy is the word. How are you a comedian? It's like, I'm gonna ask AI to write my jokes.
Right.
What?
It's like, go flip burgers. Like, if you don't want to make the joke, you don't love the craft.
Yeah.
So
like the whole part of stand up is you. Like, that's the whole. It's So, and then like comedic timing, because I feel like you can't even really teach humans comedic timing.
That's true.
So,
you cannot. You have it or you don't.
All right, so you are
And
not
most people
scared about Bob the Robot coming for your job, is what I'm
Bob,
hearing.
I ain't worried about you, Bob. You don't have the 3 minutes less on the 10. No.
Right. He don't have no
Okay,
9.5 minutes.
John. Okay, it's at least
John.
name.
Whatever his
John.
name is, he's irrelevant.
No, not at all.
But speaking of your training and all of that, let's hear. You have a movie that you are releasing about your life? Would you like to tell our listeners about that?
Sure. So it's a series. It's called Keys to the City. I wrote it, produced it, starred in it, did a lot of things that I didn't realize how tiring it was going to be all at once. But and basically it's based on my life, loosely based on my life of me graduating and deciding to move to LA to pursue acting. It's a comedy. It's all the things that you don't see about LA and the industry. Y'all see the glow up. Y'all see the glamorous. Oh, they made it. And it's like, you don't see all the in between. Even just like certain jobs that I ended up working when I stopped working in my field because of the schedule accommodated me for acting. But I would every day be like, I'm sorry, I have a master's degree. I'm sorry, what? And so it's finished now, completely shot, edited, all the things. I'm still figuring out where I'm going to plan it because when I first wrote it, it was just more like I didn't really see myself reflected in a lot of things I would audition for. I feel like it was always like the ghetto girl, or it was always, if she was educated, she was like super stuck up, or just never really like, to me, the stories that reflected my life. Like, I'm just an everyday girl from Detroit, but that doesn't mean I had to live in the projects, or it doesn't mean that I didn't, and so I wanted something that was like witty, funny, but witty, and wholesome. So I wrote it, and I also was just trying to give myself, more opportunities and just to have something to put out there. And so originally I was going to just put it on YouTube. And then when I shot it and I got it back, I was like, oh, this looks amazing. So now I'm kind of in the process of pitching it and figuring out. We got one offer, but I was like, I don't really think I wanted to land there. So I'm still kind of figuring that out. So I don't quite know exactly when it's going to be released.
It's a TBD. We'll update the show notes.
That's fine.
But I am excited for everybody to see it.
Very excited. That's awesome.
Yes, that is amazing.
I know there's a lot.
Yeah, please let us know where it does land so we can update the show notes and point people towards it.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Was there anything else that you want to share with our listeners before we head out? How do people contact you? How do they follow you and maybe hear some jokes?
So mainly I use Instagram as my primary platform. And my Instagram handle is it's Keysha.E, ITSKEYSHA.E. So everything I have coming up, if I have shows coming out, like comedy shows, I might be in your city, or any project that I'm working on or anything like that, I usually post on there. I'm about to start utilizing YouTube. So follow me, subscribe. I know. I'm such
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. I need the subscribers, y'all. And my YouTube is just Keysha E. I do have clips on YouTube. This is not on my page. But like Laugh Factory, if you like type in Keysha E. I know. I was like, Keysha. So I am working on that. But pretty much everything that I have coming up is where I would post those things. So you can contact me there, or DM me, or,
And we'll put all of those in the show notes, so you can just go ahead and click that and make sure that you keep up with Keysha.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah, I do want to tell y'all thank y'all for my t-shirt. I was like, oh my God, this is so cute. I was about to put it on, and I was looking at other interviews, and I was like, okay, Keysha, you're doing too much. Relax. Nobody else has a t-shirt on already. Just relax.
We like that you like it. It would be completely fine. I would run and go put mine on if you had yours on, and we would all be tripling.
It's so cute. So thank y'all.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Thanks for thinking of me. Yeah.
Absolutely.